Hi everyone, Janie here. Welcome back to my garden and welcome to day 27 of my 30-day garden transformation challenge. I honestly cannot believe we've made it this far. Just a few weeks ago, there were so many areas of my garden that needed attention. Everywhere I looked, I had another project waiting for me. But after showing up every day, completing my daily routine, and tackling one focused garden task at a time, things are starting to feel very different. One of the coolest parts of this challenge is realizing that there really isn't much of my garden that hasn't been touched over the past 27 days. The weeds are fewer, the containers are refreshed, and the pathways are cleaner, the shrubs are pruned, and so many of those projects I've been putting off are finally checked off the list. Now, the garden isn't perfect, and it never will be, but it feels cared for. A beautiful garden isn't built in one weekend. It's created by showing up little and often, day after day. Now, let's see what today's little bit of progress looks like. Let's get started with my daily routine. I started my daily routine by watering my plant stash, then decided to weed in the same area. With all the watering, the weeds are pretty happy here too, so I spent a few minutes pulling them before they had a chance to get out of hand. For my deadheading task, I worked on this group of sweet romance lavender. I'm especially happy to be getting jobs like this done because in the past years, these are the kind of maintenance tasks that I've often let slide. You don't have to deadhead sweet romance lavender, but it definitely looks tidier and you'll usually get better rebloom if you do. It feels good to finally be staying on top of all these little details in my garden. Next, I fertilized my hanging baskets on the front porch along with the heritage planters on either side of my front door. Annuals work hard all season long, so regular feeding helps keep them blooming their best, especially the ones planted in hanging baskets. To finish up my daily routine, I planted some truffle pink gomphrena that I still had left in my plant stash. I originally had meteor shower verbena growing in the spot, but somehow the drip irrigation line got pulled, most likely by me, and they didn't survive the summer heat. I'd love to plant meteor shower verbena here again next year because I thought it was so beautiful here in front of the fountain and in front of the iceberg roses, but for now I already had the gomphrena on hand and I think it'll add a nice pop of color until then. All right, so for day 27, my daily routine is done and I decided to give myself the 5-minute challenge. I think you all know I love setting timers for myself and seeing what I can get done. So I thought today for my focus garden task, I would set my timer 10 times, 5 minutes each time, and tackle something around the garden. So for the first 5 minutes, I got out my blower and I started cleaning up this area. I cleaned up the driveway and then I set my blower on low and I cleaned up the gravel pathway, just kind of getting all the bark back into the garden beds, cleaning up the gravel, just kind of tidying everything up. It's so funny, at day 27 of this 30-day challenge, I don't have a ton of big things to do. It's kind of just like daily maintenance type of stuff, little type of things that are just kind of making my garden look really good. I do have to say I'm doing a big garden tour for July on July 31st. And so this type of stuff is going to help with that garden tour and help kind of clean it up. And I'm excited to film that. I think it's going to be one of my best garden tours ever. So stay tuned for that. For the next 5 minutes, I got a wet rag and I just came over to the gazebo and just decided to clean up all the dust. The girls like to roast marshmallows with the fire pit out here. So there's marshmallow drippings, there's some bird droppings, there's some cobwebs and things like that. So just taking a wet rag and just kind of cleaning it up a little bit makes a huge difference. It's not perfect. I really could do with taking the covers off these cushions and throwing them in the washing machine and really doing a deep clean of this area. But for 5 minutes and a wet rag, it really makes a huge difference. And I'm happy that I did this because we really do spend a lot of time out here on the gazebo, hanging out in the garden, especially in the evenings. By the way, how good do the purple fountain grass look on either side of the gazebo? They just look fabulous. For my third 5-minute task, I decided to tackle the Georgian bird bath. Every once in a while, probably like once a week, I got to come out here and I have to scrub the algae off the bottom of this bird bath, which I really don't mind. It takes me no time at all. I mean, if you count how long it actually took me to scrub this, maybe like 1 minute, a minute and a half or something. And then it cleans it up, and I love seeing the birds on this bird bath. And this view is probably one of my favorite views of my entire garden, especially in the morning. It is just so incredibly beautiful. I love it. So after I finished cleaning the bird bath, I watered my succulent planter over here, and then I used my hose to kind of clean off some of the cobwebs that kind of accumulate, especially underneath the walnut tree and along the clematis armandii that I have on this living wall right here. It's amazing what just a quick spray of water of the hose can do, getting off all the cobwebs, getting off all the dust. It makes such a huge difference, and it was less than 5 minutes. Now, speaking of bird baths, I moved back to this area where I just planted the Truffula pink gomphrena, and I decided to clean this fountain as well. This fountain, this is not a bird bath, this is actually a fountain, but I don't have power over here, and I really want to get power over here because I have a solar fountain in this bird bath, and it just doesn't work that well. It just gets gunked up, and it gets that white film on it, and I really want to plug in this fountain, so I'm gonna have to find some way to get some power over here. So I quickly cleaned this bird bath, fountain that I'm using as a bird bath right now, and then I also filled up the bird feeder. This platform bird feeder is the one that the birds use absolutely the most. They love it, and I put black sunflower seeds in it, and just again 5 minutes really made a huge difference for this area, and I think this area is looking really, really pretty. For my next task, I moved over to the orchard garden in between the two orange trees, and I decided to finally tackle cutting back this yarrow that I have over here. Now, this project or this task was going to take way longer than 5 minutes, but that's the beauty of this 5-minute timer challenge, is that you don't actually have to finish a job. You just have to start working on the job, and hopefully you can make some progress even in just 5 minutes. This is what I've been doing for my daily routine for weeding, and there's just no way that I'm going to get all the weeding done, but if I just set a timer for 5 minutes, then for some reason I can mentally check something off of my to-do list, and it just makes me feel a lot better. So cutting back and deadheading the yarrow that I have right here, I do have to get to this Mystic Spire salvia and cut back and deadhead that, but just 5 minutes on cutting back this yarrow made a huge difference. I know I didn't have a close-up shot, but I didn't want to spend a lot of time moving the camera, but trust me, it looks a lot better even after just 5 minutes. After that, I decided to move back to my plant stash. I have been planting multiple plants every single day for the past 27 days. So my plant stash has dwindled drastically, which is fantastic. I want to get all these plants planted as soon as possible, which is kind of a hard thing to say because I still keep going shopping for plants, but I want to get all these plants planted, and I decided to spend 5 minutes just reorganizing my plant stash. I decided to put most of them all on one side so that I could go through and just water them really quickly and not having to go on both sides of my plant tables. And then I also went through and kind of pulled all the dead foliage, kind of freshened things up, deadheaded some things, cleaned some things up. So I am definitely making progress on this plant stash, and I think I will always have a little bit of plants ready to go just because I have a YouTube channel and I need to make content 5 days a week. But it's definitely dwindling and it's looking a lot better. After that, this is kind of gross. I went back to the chicken coop and I decided to work on this area. Now, for some reason, the chickens jump up on the coop and they like to poop on this thing right here. This is their nesting boxes. So I wanted to clean it up. I put on some gloves and I used a stiff brush and I just tried to clean it up as best I can. I'm so sorry, you guys. This is so gross, but this is really what I did for 5 minutes. Put on gloves, put on a mask. The girls aren't old enough. They're not laying eggs yet, but they should be laying eggs in the next couple weeks. So I knew I was going to be coming in and out of here a lot, and I wanted to kind of clean it up. It's not perfectly clean, but it's a huge improvement. And then when I was at the feed store the other day, I actually bought these nesting box, I don't know what you call them. They're kind of cushiony type things. And I put those in. So the girls, it's all ready for them when they're ready to start laying eggs. And hopefully they'll start laying eggs soon. I'll be really excited for that. So I only had 15 more minutes to go with my plan, and I decided to come back to my potting area. The pest control came and actually sprayed the wasp nest that was back here in the air conditioner. So I didn't have to worry about the wasps coming out and biting me. So I kind of cleaned the whole area up just with my hose, just kind of rinsed rinsed it off. I had planned to use a stiff brush to clean it, but of course I just used that stiff brush to clean up the chicken coop, and I need to disinfect that brush for now or before I use it again. So I just used the water on jet setting to kind of clean up the area. And honestly, it made a huge difference. This is my dirty potting area, I always say, and it's just an area that I can make a huge mess and not worry about it, because I can just come in and either blow everything off this little concrete pad that's behind my office, or use the hose to kind of clean it up a little bit. So again, I really think it's great to have a dirty potting area that you just don't really have to worry about too much. With 10 minutes to go, I decided to focus on my big fountain, my big Haddon Stone fountain. This is the West Lodge fountain, and the sprayer gets a little gunked up sometimes, so it's really easy just to unscrew it, clean it out, and then put it back on. I do have an automatic filler, it's like this bubble type thing that detects when the water's low, and it'll automatically fill it up. But I like to have it a little bit higher than that, the water a little bit more full than that. So I actually will come in with my hose probably about once a week and fill this fountain up. And then just to clean it out, I actually bought a pool vacuum to use for this, and it didn't work at all. It needed to be underwater, really deep underwater, and this is only about 12 inches of water. So that was kind of a waste, but I am using this pool net, and this actually tends to work really well, especially when I'm filling it up, because it kind of mixes up all the stuff that I have in here, and then I can come in with the net and kind of clean it up a little bit. So I think I figured out how to keep this fountain nice and clean, and I think it looks really, really pretty. And then finally, for the last 5 minutes, I decided to do a quick cleanup of the back patio area. I got my blower out and I started blowing off all the dust and debris. Now, Jason and I, last month, we sprayed gravel glue on all the gravel that's in between these concrete pads, and that worked so well because the gravel glue keeps the gravel in place, and then I can come in with my blower and I can clean up dust or bark that we've tracked in, or soil that we've tracked in when we've walked through or when Monty's walked through. So it's working really, really well, and things are looking nice and neat and tidy and clean. So with just 10 5-minute tasks, I wouldn't say it was 50 minutes because it took me a little bit longer to set up the camera and move and all that kind of stuff, but let's say a little over an hour, I got 10 5-minute tasks done, and the garden is looking so good. So I love these little games that you can play with your timer on your phone. Set your timer for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 hour, and you can get so much stuff done. I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.